Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's College Planning Tip of the Week. My name is Nancy Steenson of Steenson College Coaching, and with me today, as always, is Jack Wang of the Smart College Buyer Program. So, Jack, this time of year, many families are wrestling with admissions decisions and award letters. They're looking at the price of each college multiplied by 4 years and trying to decide, can they afford it? Where should their student go? Specifically, they might be looking at a private college, which is the student's dream school, at a cost of $300,000. And then they might have a safety college or a likely school that might be half that, 150,000 over 4 years. Not particularly where the student wants to go, but they could certainly make it work. How do you advise families when they're faced with this kind of decision?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks so much for asking because it's a great question, but it's also a very common question, right? So many families are dealing with this right now. So let's just take a look at sort of the pure financial factors first. So if a family is going to have to borrow that extra money, right? So it's one school is 300, the other school is 150. So it's a difference of an extra $150,000. Obviously, there's the interest cost, right? So if a family's going to have to borrow money, it's not just the extra 150,000, it's going to be the 150,000 plus the interest over time. There's also what's known as an opportunity cost, right? So obviously, borrowing that money is now going to take up some money out of their monthly income to have to make that payment that they could have done something else with. Now, on one hand, they could have bought more groceries or gone on vacation or whatever, but they could have also perhaps used that money to save for retirement or save for other goals. And there's an opportunity cost there because if they saved it for retirement or other goals, then hopefully that money also grew. So not only now are you looking at the interest costs that you had to pay, but you're also looking at what could it have earned for you, but now it can't because you put it towards loan payments. Okay. And then there's also something looking at the future. If they had to borrow 300,000 or an extra 150,000, what is that going to do to their credit factors, right? And specifically their debt to income ratio. This is a common thing where parents will borrow the loan and several years after their son or daughter graduates, they might want to refinance their mortgage, right? And take cash out, whatever. But now they can't because on paper, their debt to income ratio looks like it went through the roof. So now they can't refinance the mortgage because the bank won't lend them the money. And now they've locked themselves out and they're now stuck, right? Or they need to borrow to buy a car and their interest rates through the roof because, again, their debt to income ratio looks really high. So those are some of the financial factors, right? Those are really important. But this is why I often talk about how paying for college and things like this is ultimately a philosophical factor, right? And philosophical and emotional and values based. Do you truly believe that school A at $300,000 is really better than school B? Maybe, maybe not, right? This is no different than why there are people buy high-end luxury cars versus beater cars, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it gets you from point A to point B, but you might want to go in style. So it's really hard, but this is where you have to really kind of think about the experience, what kind of opportunities at the school might be available to the student. Because at the end of the day, you can justify anything, right? You can justify anything. And I'm not saying that this family shouldn't pay the extra money to send their son or daughter to the more expensive school, but this is really that proverbial come to Jesus moment, right? You got to really drill down, think about what's important to you, to the student, and to the family overall, right? What's your ultimate outcome? Is it to go on to graduate school? Is it to just get a job? Is it whatever, right? What's really that ultimate outcome? And does that ultimate outcome really justify the extra cost? There is no right answer. Every answer is different for every family. There is no right answer. But all too often, parents think about the impact now versus what the impact is going to be in the future. And for this type of decision, you really have to think about what it is in the future, because people liken to buying a car for paying for college, but at $300,000, you're buying a whole nother house. And do you want to be owning a whole nother house or the equivalent of a house for years and years and years, potentially into retirement. Maybe, maybe not. I know that that's not really a totally useful answer, but it is the factors that people have to think about and really think about into tomorrow. And again, every answer is different for every family.
Thank you, Jack. That's very enlightening and very helpful. Appreciate your wisdom as always. And I look forward to seeing you and everyone else next week on our college planning tip of the week.
Thanks, Nancy.